morning, everybody. We are here in day 3 of Rapid 2023 in Chicago, and I am delighted to have the chance to talk to who I believe is a legend in 3D printing and additive manufacturing, the unsinkable Mr. Terry Wohlers. Hi, Terry. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I couldn't be better, honestly.
I'm so glad. You know, you are relaxed. I've noticed the last few years you just seem so like, yeah, I'm here. I'm Terry Wohlers, and I love that. I love that about you. And your report has been instrumental to, I'll say, my personal understanding of what's happening in the industry for many years. And just the chance to get to interview you after all this time, I'm really excited. So
thank you for saying that.
Yes, thank you for being
here. It means a lot. Thank you.
I know you have been walking all around the show. I have seen you walking around, talking to people, reminiscing with old friends, because there's a lot of old friends here. And I'd love to get your initial impressions on what you've been seeing here this week.
Yeah, so Rapid TCT is one of my favorite shows. It's right at the top, honestly. And it goes back, this is my 31st year and there was one other person, he couldn't make it this week. I think he was the only other person that has made it to all 31. And
Amazing.
So now I think I'm the lone
the record
person,
holder.
yeah, even the staff, because staff comes and goes from SME.
That's right.
And so it's another great show. I mean, it's it's like fine wine. It gets better as it ages, right?
Well, I think it does. I mean, just looking at the quality of the displays and the conversations that I think we're having on the main stage, we've really seen the sophistication of our own understanding of the process of where additive is, as both as a technology and as an industry and a community of practice. And you're one of those guys that helps translate that for everyone.
Oh, well, thank you. We do our best. We try, but we have so much fun doing it. I mean,
absolutely.
I just love working in this industry.
Well,
I love the people.
Yeah.
America Makes has really,
people.
done a lot of great things since its founding 10 years ago.
Thank you.
And we've been a part of it from the beginning.
You have.
And so it's just a privilege to be able to work with America Makes and with this industry, and so many great people and companies and new things coming out all the time.
And what did you see this week that you really excited you?
Well, a few things. Honestly, my favorite is bumping into people I haven't seen for a long time, trying to remember their names. It's thankful we have name badges so we can take a peek. But as far as products and services, Impossible Objects with their new CBAM 25, which supposedly will be much faster. I mean, you can do a pretty good sized little part in 15 seconds. If you do the math, of course you do them in batches, and so it's not like they're coming off. But and the material properties are impressive, and so I think that's worth a look if companies haven't seen it yet.
So large and fast.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's an Australian company just down the way over here that has a Foundry's in their name. I think it's Foundry Lab.
Okay.
And it looks interesting. So they're all about producing the tooling for the casting, but like with sand casting and investment casting, it's one-time use. It's use it, you throw it away. Well, here they claim they can use it up to 20 times.
Oh,
yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
If we could reuse crucible type,
right.
Tooling.
Right, but they're not using crucibles in a conventional foundry. It's in a box, and they have it, and they're demonstrating down here. Yeah, it's worth a look. Yeah.
Well, so in the United States right now, the Department of Defense is really focused on modernizing our foundries through castings and forgings effort that we have, and thank you for bringing that forward. I think we're in a moment right now where additive is being looked at as an opportunity to help that modernization occur. So this sounds like a really great thing to look at.
Yeah, I mean, the devil's in the details, I say, and you always have to ensure, by talking with customers, does it really work as claimed and so forth. But it looks promising.
Oh, Got to keep that momentum going.
Right.
What else did you see? I know there's so many things.
Well, new software just over here, NTOP, N-Topology, but they've now rebranded to NTOP, which I kind of like.
That's kind of fun.
And so NTOP 4 is out, some nice new features, and we need good software tools for design.
Absolutely.
Because you walk around and you see these incredible heat exchangers with gyroid type features inside them and all these others, and without good software tools, you can't get there. So
that's the name of this game, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
And we've seen that grow by leaps and bounds over the last few years, and we're starting to see some integration happening among companies too, which is a very exciting thing.
Yeah.
And so, the Wohlers report, the next edition, you're always working on it. And it's lovely to get those weekly missives from Terry where he's reflecting on what has happened or happening. What can we expect to see in this next iteration?
Yeah, so so currently the industry, as of the end of last year, is $18 billion, just north of $18 billion. Grew by 18.3% last year. Where's it going to go? So in the next 9 years, by 2032, we predict, without the industry doing anything other than what it's doing now, we predict it'll grow up to $102 billion. Now that and that's a conservative. I mean, we think it could easily, but we'd rather be low than high because there's enough forecasts and projections that are
hype.
like unbelievable.
Don't need more hype.
Right.
We don't.
And so, but I don't know if you attended Kevin Zinger's keynote on Tuesday with Divergent, and I think automotive is really key. Once that industry begins to adopt, I mean, they were the early adopters for modeling, prototyping, and tooling applications, jigs, features,
work
and so
holding.
on.
Yep.
Correct. So you know that, and you've worked in this industry long enough that. But for actual, series production or custom or both, in quantity, that's where things will change in this industry because they'll drive costs down.
Absolutely.
And we'll all benefit from this.
We will, and I think what I've been hearing this week at some of the discussions, the Divergent system, platform, we're starting to see more talk of those platforms in other fashion because it's really where I think we are. You got to be able to control sort of all aspects of the system in order to get the result and to be certain that you can qualify or certify.
Right.
And
absolutely.
I think that we've all come to that conclusion where we've all, for the last many years in the industry, been trying this and trying that and trying to use the old mindset to get to the new using the new technology. And I think we've all learned that that's not really going to work, and that we really do need a completely separate kind of approach to think about this technology, additive specifically, as a different way of existing. And I mean, nobody more than you has really been trying to quantify what that looks like on the business side.
Yeah.
And so I love what you said about the numbers. Do you have a sense, like we've seen a lot of layoffs in the industry this year, and do you have any thoughts on why that's happening other than just normal business cycle? Is there any other reason?
Companies are tightening their belts a bit. We are seeing some of that, and but I think some of the layoffs and downsizing that goes on is just part of every company. As they grow, mature, they have to cut the fat, so to speak, and reinvent themselves. And so I think some of that's just natural. Now, are other factors at play? Probably could be, but
I'm sure inflation is not helping. But
correct.
I think what I've seen is that we've had a lot of consolidations and mergers and acquisitions, which is just normal, right? It's just normal.
Yeah.
But I think we're seeing growth, and you've just mentioned the growth in additive.
Yeah.
But I think we've reached a point where that qualifications and certification standard kinds of things are starting to have a chilling effect. And dampening down the flow, as it were, of new entrants into the market, and certainly products that would be fully additively made, which is why that divergent type mindset may be important. So
correct.
I wonder if you could just reflect on that. Are you seeing that? Does that resonate with you, or is there some other thing you think it is?
It does. We visited a large aerospace company in Israel last year, and we had a big team with us going through the company, and one point they made was this, in that they could design these highly convoluted structures, really wild structures, within 2, 3, 4 weeks. It take months to do the qualification certification, even up to a year.
And a lot of money, too.
And a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how can we address this so that it doesn't become the gating factor to getting these products out the door?
Yep.
And so I
100%.
totally appreciate what you're saying.
100%.
Absolutely.
My role as the ecosystem director, I'm really always looking for ways to make the business case for additive an easier one to make. And I think we know the value proposition. I think you lay it out very well in your report on the regular, but I think that somehow we have to get past these sticky issues that we're still dealing with after all these years, and I'm not sure how to do that. But I'm wondering if you have any ideas on, are there policies that might be useful for us to consider? What are we not doing? What could we be doing better to just unleash this? I'm impatient. If you haven't seen,
I am too.
I know
a lot
you
of us are, right?
Yeah. So, what do you have any ideas on that? Just you want to share right now from this moment? Like you've talked before, so what about now?
Yeah. So, in fact, that was a big part of the keynote session this morning. Did you attend it?
I wasn't able to.
Yeah. So we talked a bit about that. What's the secret sauce that's going to make this industry even bigger and better? And honestly, we'd all like to see it grow faster and be more impactful,
Yes.
the adoption be more widespread and deeper within these organizations. That will happen. But I don't know that you can really force that or really come up with, certainly there's new ideas. I think automotive is one, as I mentioned. I think it'll
medical.
drive not only cost but speed of these systems.
Sure.
And they'll be much, much better and easier to use, and it'll open up new market opportunities, not only within automotive but other places as well.
Yeah.
As a result. I guess what's encouraging is seeing the young people now having been introduced to 3D printing either in high school, college, or both, and then in the workforce. That's exciting. I shared a story earlier in the keynote session that a company in Fort Collins, Colorado, that's where I live, is in the gaming business, and they make these gaming consoles. And they're young guys in their 20s, and they didn't even think about going to tooling. They, of course, will 3D print this. And now a company, Avid Product Development in Loveland, Colorado, is doing that in the tens of thousands of parts. But they're 3D printing them because, of course, that's what you'd do.
Of course.
Well,
why would I do anything else?
Right.
So that's great. That's exactly the moment we actually have all been waiting for, right?
Right.
Where that light bulb goes on and the new generation says, "Nope, not going to that old place. We're gonna do it this way." I love that, and Terry, I want to say again that I'm personally grateful for your leadership and that steady hand to help explain to us what's going on. Throughout the year, you're collecting information, you're talking to everyone, and you're doing a great service for the whole community of practice and additive.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say.
Thank you. And I'm excited that I got to be the one to talk to you this year, and hopefully next year, and we'll just keep this going because there's a whole lot more in store, and keeping it fresh in front of us is what you do best. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege. It really is.
Yes. Well, till next year.